Hi, it's Corey Chambers in Los Angeles. Your home sold, guaranteed, or I'll buy it. Oh, I'm about to cross a dangerous street here. We're right in the middle of Los Angeles, in central Los Angeles, just 2 miles from downtown. We're in the neighborhood of Lincoln Heights, which is where I live, right over there at Ulta lofts. So, a couple things are happening. One is prices are coming down in a lot of neighborhoods, in more and more neighborhoods. And some neighborhoods are still hot. I just came from a property that was asking about $700,000 or $800,000, and it had a couple little tiny guest units. So it was sort of a triplex, but the main house was a small 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and then the two guest houses were, one was pretty small and the other one was even smaller. And they did not have kitchens or kitchenettes. Although if you bought those, you might want to add a tiny little kitchenette. I suspect that the permitting is expensive for those kitchenettes if you want to do it permitted, so people will possibly end up putting in some unpermitted kitchenettes in those two little units. But the architecture was very nice, and the price is probably $50,000 below market. So with that nice architecture, and it was remodeled, being flipped, and so we had the updated kitchens and bathrooms and other updates that attract enough buyers. So one person who was visiting mentioned that it was like going to Disneyland, and they were talking about the number of people that were there, that you kind of had to stand in line to get in the place. So compare that to some other places, especially downtown lofts, where the owners thought that they're just going to get top dollar, even though the place is dingy, dark, not fixed up, looks a little bit too lived in, looks very unexciting, unappealing, has issues, and the seller's not willing to address the issues. They feel that they should not have to. Well, they don't have to if they don't want to get top dollar for the place. But if you want to get top dollar, you have to address the issues that make the place less desirable. So we hear sometimes stories that a place is in disrepair, it's a mess, it's a nightmare, but they got a staggering amount of money for it. Well, yeah, if you're in a fantastic neighborhood where like nothing else is available, and the house has really good bones, really good structure, and has some issues, and you don't have over expectations of how much money you're going to receive, then you can get a surprising amount of money for property in that neighborhood, especially if the neighborhood values went up during the last 6 months. So downtown Los Angeles and other surrounding loft neighborhoods, the prices have come down for the last 6 months. And the prices went down the 6 months before that. So if you look on the LA Loft blog, you'll see, just like in the last couple days, our report that Forbes has announced that downtown Los Angeles prices have come down. And Forbes announced that about 6 months after we announced it on the LA Loft blog. Because if you're looking at Los Angeles real estate, especially downtown Los Angeles, you'll see that the LA Loft blog has the most updated news, because it's got new blog posts on there almost every day, new articles about real estate news for the areas near downtown Los Angeles and some other parts of LA. So that's a couple things that So that's the difference. Some prices are still going to be fantastically high, and that's especially neighborhoods that are away from downtown. The downtown has a couple issues. Number one is downtown's homeless and tent encampments problem has gotten worse. Another issue that downtown has is that the prices in downtown were the first to come up. And what I expected was a repeat, which would be that downtown Los Angeles prices would be the last prices to come down. However, that has not proven to be true. Downtown LA was not the first neighborhood to start going down in prices, because New York City, Manhattan, Vancouver, Toronto, San Francisco, and a whole lot of other areas have had prices coming down either first or at the same time as downtown Los Angeles. So there's downtown Los Angeles right there, and here's the LA River right here. So that's it. It's important for people to know what makes prices come down and what makes prices go up. So the house that we saw today, one of the things that they did was start with a price that was too low. Now when I say too low, that's usually a good thing. It means that you're going to get a bidding war, create lots of excitement, and that makes the prices go up. Some people have a hard time understanding that. Most real estate agents know that that's how it works, and some sellers can understand that if you attract a lot of buyers and get them fighting over your property, that there's a very good chance that they're going to be paying more than the asking price. And then the couple of those sort of losers that I mentioned, and I only call them losers to save time, but basically they sold for less. They didn't do as well as they could have. That's why I called them losers. Not that the sellers were losers, but their attitude was probably not correct, was not optimal as far as getting the most money for the property. Because for those ones, the prices were coming down. There were issues. There were things that needed to be fixed, things that needed to be enhanced that were not, for various personal reasons and so forth. And so having personal issues is a great way to not get the most money for whatever your personal issues are. Like, this is my place, I need to keep living in it, and I shouldn't have to make it look like a showroom new house because I'm busy living here. Well, you can do that, and maybe you should do that if that's what you need to do. But if you need to get top dollar for the property, it needs to be presented as a top dollar property. There's no way around that fact. So also the price. Some people think that having an extra high price somehow gets you more money for the property, and that if you put the price too low, then you risk getting too little money for the property. Well, no, right in the middle of Los Angeles, we have more buyers. People are going to be looking at your listing like crazy, and if you're offering a halfway decent value, they're going to be coming and looking at the property. Lots of serious buyers. That has not changed. The number is not as astronomical as it was a couple years ago for downtown Los Angeles. But if you're offering a beautiful place that looks beautiful in the pictures, looks beautiful in person, and has a great price, you're going to attract a large number of people and multiple offers. And if your price is too low, that means you're going to get multiple offers above asking price, and you're going to end up getting more money, because that's going to make the buyers more excited and more competitive when in trying to buy it. The majority of buyers are more excited, more enamored with the property when they know that other people like the property. So that's it. And one of those losers did sell. It was sold to someone who flipped it, who did to the property what needed to be done with it, which was to get all the personal stuff out of it, fix up the kitchen and the bathroom, put in more lighting because it was too dark, and then they sold it for immediately sold it for $100,000 more than they paid for it. So another one that had tenants in it, the seller did not want to bother the tenants, and so it looked like it had been a little bit too lived in, and the asking price was too high. And it could have been that the seller only needed to come down about $20,000, and they could have gotten multiple offers on it above asking price. So those are a couple examples of how things could be improved if the seller would be willing to improve those. Now, fortunately, in my experience, those are rare. Most sellers that I have dealt with in downtown Los Angeles and other places, they have been willing to fix up the place, present it as good as possible in a way that's efficient. You don't ever need to overdo the fixing up. The things that should be fixed are only the things that should be fixed to increase the price in a way that is profitable, in a way that the seller will end up a lot more money in their pocket when they're all done, and that will get sold faster so that the seller ends up with more money in their pocket faster. So those are certain types of fix-ups that should be done. And I mentioned a couple of them. One is making it look not so heavily lived in, so it's not so currently heavily lived in. Updating kitchens and bathrooms as much as you can, and as much as is appropriate for that neighborhood. Brightening the place, making sure that it either has plenty of natural light, and if it doesn't, you need to make sure that you need to more than compensate for adding lighting to the ceilings and maybe wall sconces if there is a dark wall in the interior of the unit. So that's it. That's what's happening in Los Angeles real estate, and that's how people are getting the most money right now. I'm Corey Chambers in Los Angeles. Your home sold, guaranteed, or I'll buy it. If you want to see any of these properties that I mentioned, or if there's any others that you would like to see in Los Angeles, or that you'd like more information, just let us know. We will send you a free information packet for any home, and we will also make an appointment, if you'd like, to show you the interior of any lofts, condos, or houses. If you have a home you'd like to sell, you should know that I will guarantee the sale of your current home at a price acceptable to you, or I'll buy it for cash. This will allow you to buy your next home without worrying about selling your present home. To find out how much you can sell your home for, call me at 213-880-9910. And that's it from Elysian Park in central Los Angeles near downtown. Corey Chambers, your home sold, guaranteed, or I'll buy it. Thanks again. You take care. Bye-bye.